Okay, it's 5:01, and we're going to start the Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen meeting. It's Wednesday, December 5th, 2018, and let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On to item 2, approval of minutes, October 22nd, 2018, October 23rd, 2018, October 31, 2018, and November 7th, 2018.
I'll make a motion to approve A, B, C, and D minutes that you read off.
Second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor? It's all three of us. Item 3, review of treasurer's warrants. Payroll 150, 152, 154, accounts payable 149, 151, 153, and 155.
Make a motion to approve A and B as read.
Second.
Those in favor? All three of us. Item 4, open session. We have some guests tonight. Would anyone like to speak?
Lois said if it's 2 minutes, I'd never even get started.
Well-
Coached 40 years and taught special needs, so I just keep going on.
We'll give you as much latitude as we can.
So don't start our time yet.
Mr. Shees had bought our property and we held the mortgage on it. And we tried a deed in lieu. He let me know he wasn't going to stay there, and originally agreed to a deed in lieu, which we sent to him, but during that time he decided to file bankruptcy. Through the bankruptcy courts and being in Pennsylvania where he is, they didn't know what the processes were. But we were told from everyone we had no control. We could not go to the property. It was his. We are listed as creditor of the property that he does owe us. So what we were told to do was to wait, because if we paid the taxes, it would just stay, and every year it would be on to him. So we had to make a break at some point, and it wasn't until I received the notice that the 3 years were due that I could do anything. We could do anything about it, and that's what we proceeded to do.
So it's gone through foreclosure. The last day to pay the taxes was November 30, and I printed off the original deed that they had given to the Shice, Stanley and Maybell. It does not say heirs and assigns forever. It's just those two specifically, and they have both been notified. And the bankruptcy that the gentleman did, he's the gentleman that lives in Pennsylvania, and he went to a Pennsylvania court, and it's gone through and it's been released, and I have all of those documents. There was nothing ever sent to our registry of deeds to say that they were not the mortgage holders. So the way we look at it is they are still the mortgage holders of record, but it has gone through the foreclosure process. So at this point, rather than go through a tax sale, they're asking if they can purchase this now for the taxes, all of the taxes. It would bring everything right up to current. So that's what they're asking. I forwarded you an email from MMA regarding the process that we do have to follow, and basically they said it is at the Selectmen's discretion how you proceed with this property.
In fact, there was an item on the warrant, the most recent warrant, that addressed this, and I'm not, to be honest, I didn't remember that we put it on there, but.
It's on every year.
Oh, okay, so it's just
It's a typical, it's every year you have a warrant article that says that. We do have a tax acquired policy, but according to MMA legal, because it's not your policy, you don't have to follow that policy. But even in that policy, the item paragraph D gives you the discretion to not follow A, B, and C, and just do at your discretion.
We haven't
what
looked at
you
this
wish.
property yet, though, have we?
We have not.
Okay.
No, we
Well, I
have
didn't
not.
recall.
No. This is it just came up due. I think I do have, it's on Burrows Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I had printed off the amount due.
You go into the driveway of 250 Burrows Road, there's a house on the right-hand side. If you continue straight up, it's a dirt road. And it's back there.
And so that's the account as it stands today.
Is the assessed value on here?
Upper right corner. It's a camp, I think, more or less. And I believe he took out the bathroom or
Yeah, he did.
eliminated the bathroom in it for some reason.
Yeah, I put a tub in the middle.
Put a tub in.
Wait.
I have no idea. Well, I don't want to let this meeting go on because I know you got him. But she keeps, don't talk. This has been a nightmare for her, this whole thing. We tried to do, the best we could with it. And we even offered to go in and keep it up, but the lawyer told us that we could not go in there and do anything.
First year I paid his insurance,
We even paid.
trying to help out.
Thoughts?
May I just,
Initial? I question what you circled, but
Does it say 30 acres?
yeah. Doesn't that say 30 acres?
is that correct?
Plus or minus, yeah.
How is that land value that low?
Is it in tree growth?
Is it
Yeah.
in?
That's
your answer?
Oh, there's your answer.
There's your answer.
Good to know.
One of the things that kind of jumps out at me, first of all, I can imagine how frustrating this has been for you guys. There might be lots of people that this person has basically left in a lurch financially. Could be oil companies, could be the town of Sangerville, for example. So I'm not sure how, I guess, if the lien holder were TD Bank, and TD Bank was sitting here saying, we didn't pay his taxes because we certainly didn't want to enable him to stay there longer, would we consider an accommodation like this for them? Or would we go through the normal process of putting the property up for bid? And that's what kind of strikes me.
So there's no mortgage on, oh, go ahead.
If I could just say one thing, and Lois has a whole book full of everything.
Oh, I have the bankruptcy things in here.
Where we left it, and we told him, look, you have I'll give the figures, he owed us, when he left us, over $22,000. And, so what we did, Lois went over the whole thing, and then, we did the mortgage for him and everything, and what Lois was trying to explain in the beginning was, because he said, okay, I'm gonna sign it back over to you. And we went to the lawyer right up here, and he said that, that's fine, I'll make up the deed in lieu. So he did, and he sent it to the guy. And then he called, and we were thankful, let's get it done and go up and get the taxes around. And then he called Lois and said, I'm not giving you anything, I'm claiming bankruptcy. And then we had to go to a lawyer, and we've spent, a little bit now as it is, trying to get this thing straight. But we were trying to help the guy out. He said, no, I can't get a mortgage, could you get on that? We said, okay. And then this came up, and we're trying to get it. We would, if we knew that we needed to pay the taxes, and we could do that without jeopardizing anything else, we would have paid him. I mean, we paid some months of insurance for him too. We tried in every way we could to cooperate, and it just didn't work out. But it's been a lot of pain, a lot of trouble and problems.
So is it 3 years of taxes?
Yeah.
3 years of
Yeah.
taxes. And so you had a personal money mortgage with him that's what you had set up, but then he declared bankruptcy.
Right.
And so he defaulted on it.
Right.
So you're the lien holders, or
We're the people, yeah. We own it in a way, I don't know.
Do you have the first position?
Yes.
Yeah.
and was that all set up, was the mortgage set up did you set it up yourself, or did you do
No,
it via?
we had it done legally by a,
But a lawyer, yeah.
I just don't.
I mean, I feel bad because it's a personal situation over in
Right.
the bank, but I don't see that it's any different as far as why we have a policy.
Right.
I would, for me personally, at a minimum, I'd like to kind of articulate my concerns and maybe go to MMA or even the town's attorney and spell this out, and, because I have, I'm not even close to being an attorney, but it seems like the person who said to you, don't pay the taxes, may not have given you good advice, because you had a position. If you'd paid the taxes, we wouldn't be in a position right now to own this property, and you could have,
we wouldn't get
But
it.
that, what the lawyer said, there was
well,
no
for
way
non-payment, if he he has to pay you, if he doesn't pay you, you have a lien on his property.
Right. But
So
he's-
you take him to court and you would win.
Right. But he's filed bankruptcy, so they doubt we'll get anything from it.
And that, there could be a lot of creditors here with that same exact impassioned,
But what Pennsylvania said is that they threw this all out. It said that happened a long time ago, it's ridiculous, that's it. And we got a list of who we owed money to, because they have to
We're the
send
top
that to
priority.
us. And we were the number one on the list, but, you know, nobody got anything. And one of the things I like to ask you, because you've done this before. So let's say whatever direction this goes, if you put this up for like a tax sale, if somebody bought the place, would they pay us the money that we were owed?
I do not believe so.
No.
The money goes to the town.
So we would lose outright.
Correct. So same with anybody else who had any debt on that property.
Okay. Okay, here's
That's the
this is the
deed.
bankruptcy, and I don't know, that's the mortgage, the original.
The more, oh yeah, so we're just leaving those back.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted.
Well, this, as you can see, this property hasn't even come before us yet. So
Okay.
you've had an opportunity to share with us, you're in a very empathetic position as far as I'm concerned. I totally can appreciate how frustrating that is for you. But
Yeah.
we haven't really even addressed the property yet, and now I'm sure we'll all have questions that,
Okay.
and
I have a check, a bank check for the taxes owed. Do I still give that to you?
no,
No.
I don't believe so.
I would wait
Okay,
at this
not-
point.
It's not really an option right now,
okay.
I don't believe, so.
Yep. It's complicated.
To say the least.
Yeah,
It makes you think about holding paper on a deal.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we learned our lesson the hard
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that's the first thing when we went in, the lawyer said, never carry a mortgage for anybody, thank you. But I don't know, there's not much else, and I thank you for your time, and we appreciate it. But Lois has a whole, this Lois has a whole folder of any question you could ever ask is in there. We had an alpaca ranch for,
Oh, no kidding.
so, she's run that whole thing and everything business-wise. So she can answer any question, we appreciate it, and
We will communicate with you. Lois will let you know what the next steps will be,
good.
all right?
Okay, we thank you very much for hearing us.
Thank you.
It's been the most pleasant thing of the whole mess.
No.
Would anyone else like to speak? Yes, sir.
Can I still put a bid in on the tractor?
I
Town drive?
I believe so. I think our ad said email, but I think we could take a bid either way.
Yeah, because we left it open for,
Yep, yep,
And that's something you're gonna look at tonight?
yes.
Okay.
Gonna take take those bids.
Yeah, we did on the truck last time.
We did last time.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're looking to get as much money as we can out of that tractor.
Right.
Were you with Toby? And do you wanna just skip up to that one?
Sure, it would, do
Well,
you
I
want
have
to?
a quick selectmen's concern.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I don't know if he was gonna bring it up or not, but Silver's Mills, part of the shim is off.
The shim, or where they put the overlay over the
It's before, it's just up above Halls, like in the corner.
Yeah, it's several spots. Some of the shim's coming up and some of the overlay is coming off.
yeah, I saw the overlay last
Right at
week,
the end, right at the end where they start.
where they butted it. Yeah, they didn't do a good job there.
But that,
Well, it was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right in the margin, maybe not even in the margin.
I noticed
I
that.
think he'll fix it, but I'll give him a call and let him know that we have a couple of issues.
Well, my
with
concern
it.
is this piece that's going from me towards your house, that's a pretty good edge. Is that gonna be alright, or are you gonna,
I haven't got out and looked at it yet.
okay? That was my concern.
You might have to grind it?
I was just worried if it's enough of a lip that when he plows the next time,
just
he's
gonna
gonna
roll it right up.
keep right on rolling it.
Yeah,
I'll have to stop and look at it.
Cause you must have felt it.
I've caught it several times.
Oh.
It jolts the plow.
Okay.
Makes the springs work.
I didn't intend to leave, open session. Did anyone else want to speak? No? Okay. Go ahead.
We're having a little issue on the sand. The sand is real clayey.
Similar to last year.
It was clayey last year, but not as bad as it is right now. This is the worst it's been. It bridges up in my truck pretty hard. And if there's any moisture at all, it makes it worse. But now new trick is it's plugging up in the spinner. So it fills the spinner up and spills out the top. So I'm out there with a crowbar all the time.
and another complaint that, I got from Chris was
It's just mud.
the size of there are some bigger rocks in it too. Are you noticing that there are some bigger pieces in there?
That's not so much as an issue for me as it is not going through. But it's quite troublesome on
Yeah.
my part.
It's a minor issue when those rocks are getting pinched by tires and going through windows.
Well, plug
It's
is plugged.
unfortunate.
It's gonna happen, but I mean, the bigger issue is not getting anything on the road at all.
Yeah.
What size are you seeing, Chris? Or have you seen?
Inch and a quarter rocks,
Really?
not clay particles, actual rocks.
You can walk right out here in the parking lot and see some pretty good sized ones.
Well,
I haven't particularly noticed that, but I'm not saying it isn't. But it's pretty muddy. It's pretty muddy sand. I hope we can do better next year.
Oh,
I
Yes.
can pretty much promise you we'll do
Yeah.
better next year.
yeah.
And I've got another issue. I don't like to complain. but
You're on a roll.
Down in Brockway's Mills, we've got 2 trailers and an SUV that's been there all last winter, and they're still there now.
He says
They
they're,
moved the SUV closer to the road, and it's made it even harder, because I usually plow the mouth of it where that SUV is sitting now.
he claims that's his property and he can put that there.
It's gotta be,
It
I
is.
don't know how
So,
many road
don't-
wide,
well,
wide the road is.
yeah, I don't either, and I
Is it sitting in
haven't
the-
found.
In our right of way.
Well, if it's
The
a 3
SUV's
rod
gonna be
road,
sitting in the Silver's Mills right away at least.
that's true, because
That's
the
a
Silver's
4 rod
Mills
road.
is 4, that's right,
And that's, I know that is totally in the right of way of the Silver's Mills Road.
yeah.
And
But
Mark,
he's got plenty of room up to his place to back that stuff.
so it's just parked there, not moved during the day or
Right.
anything else?
Sat there
Just
for over a year.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
One trailer was missing earlier when we were plowing snow, and it came back while we were plowing.
Are you talking about a trailer that you tow behind a truck or a trailer of
Yeah.
living?
Just a
Utility.
utility,
Oh,
2
oh,
utility
oh,
trailers.
Well, it's got a
one
bunch
of them
scrap
had
metal
full
or
of,
something.
yeah,
Bunch of scrap
And
metal, there's a whole
trash.
pile of scrap metal behind it towards the
Yeah.
stream now.
Was any of that a concern? Because it is roughly
Turned
close
into
to
a
a stream.
George and I did go down to address it, I think he wrote a letter. The day we went down, we didn't have the right address for the person who it belongs to. But he did write a letter.
Kind of friends with him. I mentioned it to him last year that it kinda's in the way, and he's, well. I
I'll
own
send
the
a letter.
property, and I left it at that,
Uh,
but it's kind of a pain. And there was something else, I'm trying to think what it was
It
now.
was the turnaround on Line Road,
Yeah,
and I talked to,
that was it.
Seth,
Yeah.
and he said the landowner, when they did some of the ditching on Line Road, the landowner asked for that
Yeah.
material, and that's where they wanted it put because it's their land. So, but I also talked to Seth and Butch both about moving it. You know, either we have to spread it and flatten it or what we're gonna do. But I've gotta call the landowner first to make sure that that's something that we can do, that they're going to allow us to do.
Okay, and if we can do something about smoothing up the line road a little bit.
For the potholes,
Yeah, if
Can we-
just
is there anything
put some
we can
gravel,
do?
if we just put some gravel in it.
okay.
See if it will stay.
Yeah, or some of that
'Cause I have
clay.
to, like I told Lois earlier today, I have to stop right at Josh Tracy's driveway and then drive through those holes, it's so deep.
I told him wait till the snow fills it and it'll be fine.
It won't be fine in the season.
I know, I
I
know.
think you're gonna have another problem this spring,
Yeah.
water sitting in the road. I think that's it.
Now we want to jump this one,
What's that?
the sale of the tractor.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to that. So, I mean, you guys don't mind?
No, not at
No, I
all.
think we could probably jump around a little bit and get a lot of people out here.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're gonna move down to item 7, and we're gonna sell the John Deere tractor. These are all of them, or did you?
Yeah, they're all of them in order,
Okay.
least to the highest.
And this is the highest?
Yep.
Okay. I really don't need all the others.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Go ahead, Jim.
Can I readjust that?
So,
Go up a
should we,
little.
should
Yeah,
we read it?
yeah, go ahead, there's your current bid.
So Frank Ruxney, $6,217 for the John Deere 4100 and attachments.
That is our current
That's our
highest
current
offer.
bid.
Can you let me in on the next one?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, no,
No. But does anybody else,
No, but,
Warren, you
no,
showed
but
an
I don't
interest?
know, Frank, if you knew that it's an open bid as well, that, right? I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah,
What does
we
that mean?
Bid.
just let him bid,
we just let him, yeah,
yeah.
Right.
right.
That's, nobody else wants to say anything regarding the tractor. All right,
And just to note, there are probably
oh, there's a stack.
20, 25 bids there.
Oh, from all over.
And you
Because
really
it
weren't
goes
that far above the next one.
Yeah,
For the, yeah, it's a little John Deere
yeah, there
tractor.
was John Deere with the snow blower and mower.
Oh, no. Yeah, 6,000. I mean,
Oh, so there you go,
yeah.
good job.
I started that yesterday. I just noticed it was posted at Robinson's.
Yep,
So when I was over there, I started it out and listened to it.
yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's not.
So do we want, you wanna make a
Yeah,
motion?
yeah. I'll make a motion that we sell the John Deere 4100 tractor and attachments for $6,217 to Frank Ruxney.
Second.
Those in favor? Three of us? You bought a tractor.
Probably need that 28 bucks. Thank you.
Yes.
All in favor?
And much
What's that?
Oh, that's a nice little tractor.
So I should come see you and get your check and things, Lois?
Yes,
Okay, arrange picking it up or whatever.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
you.
great, thank you.
Take both snowballs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see there's another one
They're
thrown.
a little rough. The blowers
Yeah,
are
they're
quite
both rough. Yeah.
I looked over yesterday.
A parts blower.
Quite a lot of it's rough.
Yeah. it is.
Well, good luck.
Thank
They
you.
get a
Thanks,
winter
Frank.
project.
There you go.
Thanks, Frank.
Everybody needs a winter project.
Give that $28, Chris, will you?
We can do 7F, that would be quick.
That'll be a quick one.
Okay.
Mowing. Cemetery, roadside, and SVMP.
Sangerville Veterans Memorial Park.
I knew that.
Aha.
And so we kind of switched it up a little bit. The cemetery is only the cemeteries. The little extra pieces that he had been doing, we can put that on with the it's at the park, so it's the monument lot and all of those extra pieces. So we gotta, I can't see those. Coover's bid on the cemetery one, $14,976. Troy Nesbitt put for the Memorial Park, $4,200. PJ's on the cemetery for $9,000. Orman Gray for the cemetery for $9,800. Orman Gray for the Memorial Park for $5,000. And the roadside mowing, $1,509.90. And he actually gave us he would keep it for 3 years. And this is Aggressive Cuts. It's the guy that did it last year.
Is that all the roads?
I added, yes, before I sent it back, I added the Turner and, I added a little, it was like a mile or two more.
What was that last?
West, Turner, McNaughton, I think are all added to it.
Okay, well, that's what, before, yeah, I just wanna make sure, that's all, before we go with that one.
The
It's your
roadside.
road, Yeah,
Yeah, Thomas Road has.
Oh, Thomas, that's what I meant. I added it. Yes.
Hasn't been done for a couple,
yeah,
Yeah,
at least 3 years.
yeah.
yeah, no, I did add it.
So what was that roadside number? I didn't get that.
1509.90.
And that was Aggressive Cuts?
Yep, it's 28.76 miles, because we don't do 23 and Pleasant Ave.
What was last year's number?
Same,
It was
cool.
pretty close to that.
And you added nearly 2 miles of road.
Yeah, it was 14 something, like 1479 or something like that.
Okay.
So,
Alright,
do we have to,
can I just do one motion for all three, make it quick?
Sure.
Make a motion to accept PJ's for cemetery, Aggressive Cuts for roadside, and Troy Nesbitt for park and rec.
those are all the lowest bid.
And the ones with no complaint.
And I'll second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor? It's unanimous, just as Dale proposed.
Nicely done.
Yes, like a steel trap.
I know.
Okay, what would you suggest next, Lois?
What else is quick?
Let me do my, my report. Item 6.
Okay, item 6, committee reports.
So I have tree removal. I'm working with CMP and Engstrom's and Cleves Farms to do those big maples that are down on East Sangerville Road. As far as I know, CMP is going to be there on Monday to start. They're going to do the tree line, the electric line side of the road, and then we'll do the other side. There's a few other trees that we've marked, but Engstrom's didn't give me a price on it. There's 6 or 7 on French's Mill.
I would say there's some marked on my road.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
6 or 7 on French's Mill. There's 3 down by on Silver's Mills, but he hasn't gotten me a price on that because we just found out today that CMP will cover their side of the road on those big maples. So that's in the works, and it's pretty good to get to Brian Robbins at CMP. I also contacted Zach Herrick about, he's got the grinder that's on the excavator to do like the roadside stuff. He says it's $145 an hour, and I asked him how long would it take to do a mile, and he said it depends on the road. So if that's something that we want to look at,
Do we have the extra money for this?
I have $35,000 roughly.
Let's try it. I would pick a mile of road and see.
I would say, we all know of some good spots to try that
I
out.
mean, but I would seriously like to get us back to where we're supposed to be.
Yep. Pick a
I mean, I'm
mile.
not saying I'm not-
I mean, I know there's a lot of road. I mean, you tell me what mile you want me to have him look at.
Lauren, what's the worst mile plowing?
For the trees,
Yep, if you're gonna have Barrett come in with a grinder,
It's grinder stuff, not, interim stuff, but
right. Let me get back to you on that.
okay.
Okay.
That would be good, that's,
I'll keep my eyes real.
yeah,
yeah.
Wait, we're running out of time, that's all.
pick your spot.
Yeah,
The next
'cause I
10
better have
days
it-
look pretty
yeah.
good weather-wise.
I'll fit you a mile.
All right.
There you go.
The 5500, Seth heard back from the truck guy. and it is most likely a transmission issue. So, you'll have to think about what you wanna do with the 5,500. I mean, if you can't sell it really in the condition it's in and get a top dollar on it, and if you fix it, you might as well keep it and use it.
What I would really like
100%.
to do is pull our records, and I'd like to know how much money we've invested in that truck. Because I'm pretty confident to say that the only thing that hasn't been replaced, at least once, is the frame and the cab.
Jeez.
Maybe the doors,
The transmission has been, how many miles are on that?
not very many.
Yeah, the records are up there. Somebody wanted to see the tractor, the John Deere tractor records, and so they're all in there. And I can do that.
But
And
you can't really, you
That
can't
truck
spend the winter where it is
when
though.
it's empty.
it's in the garage.
Okay,
Chris and
Yeah,
I put it in the garage.
They put it in the garage
the
for
other
me,
day.
yeah.
thank you.
Took the wheeler out and dumped the stone out of it, put that down the other day.
It had stone in
We
it?
had crushed stone,
Okay,
pull it out, so we dumped that out, so it'll be empty.
good.
And then we put that truck in, because it's kind of in our way.
Yep.
Working the sand pile, we didn't want to back into it with a loader.
Right.
And then I moved stuff around yesterday. I moved the trailer and I got my V-plow pulled out where I can get a hold of that.
Okay.
And we want to pile of culverts up, just to make a little more room out there. But my big concern was back into that truck with a loader.
Yeah,
So
we didn't wanna
let's-
do that.
Let's see if we can put it in the garage, and Chris contacted you about
Yep,
that.
yep.
Another thing that thank you very much for doing that, and, you guys plowed for us in October. You should
Yes.
submit a bill for that.
Yes. I tell
At a
them.
minimum, the diesel. I mean, that's just not, we really appreciate it. We didn't have to even ask. It was great. So, but,
Well, we always have, every time it snows before. We
and you know what, next year we'll, maybe our contract will start in the middle of October, but I mean, you're doing it anyway, so. But anyway,
We ought to have something in the contract, so if you did have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
maybe
can
that.
bill by the.
but it's just not right that you got
Yeah,
We'll,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
we'll give you
something.
something, yeah, definitely.
I didn't see anybody
Really
else out
appreciate
there
you guys
plowing
doing
roads.
that, so.
No,
Nobody else volunteered to do
not
that.
yours.
no.
And I have a road committee meeting set up on Monday at 6 PM to discuss, what we wanna put in for next year. You know, what are the issues that
Sounds like
we really
we've got
need
some
to.
ideas.
Yep,
Yeah, we'll go with it.
so that's my whole report.
Do you have a budget committee meetings?
Not yet.
We're getting there.
Yep, we are getting there.
Okay.
Yep.
This-
I wanna let you know, we know we've been slacking on sidewalks a little bit. We haven't got our snow blower going yet, but, plan is to come up with a skid steer tomorrow and clean them and haul it off. Just so you know.
Okay, perfect.
And my other issue I had that I wanted to bring up was that house right across from the old post office that has no driveway, so to speak, that they usually packed in the road or on the sidewalk.
Across from the post office?
Right
Oh,
across
across from the
It's a beauty
insurance.
house.
Oh,
from the beauty
this way.
Right-
Okay.
right at the-
Yeah. And they have a truck and they kind of park it.
Well, it's always hanging out into the sidewalk
Yeah.
area or in the road even. But when-
Yeah.
When they do plow the dooryard, they plow it and they make a big pile on the sidewalk, both ways. You know, if you've noticed that or not.
What's
It's a
their,
big, huge
do you know what
pile
their
there right
number
now.
is, their house number?
It's
Or do you know the
great.
name?
I don't even know the name.
It's right
Sean
across.
Stone.
But
John
they make
Stone?
big piles of snow on that side. They've been
Sean
doing it for
Stone.
years. But they
Pretty
really
sure
ought
that's
to-
who he's talking
they
about,
really
right
need to
behind
stop doing that.
Joe White's house.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, right around the corner when you turn on it.
Right around the corner, it's the first house.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got the real, it's got the old barn attached for
Yeah.
a garage, and then there's just a couple of parking spots there. that-
I don't
They just don't have
remember
any room. But they just gotta stop plowing the snow down the sidewalk.
All right,
Four-wheeler.
Well, they shouldn't be parking in,
They shouldn't be parking on
the
the
end of that
sidewalk.
driveway isn't their driveway, the end of the
Right,
driveway
is
is
the
the
sidewalk.
You know,
So they
any
shouldn't
other-
be parking.
Any other town or city would haul a vehicle off.
yeah,
Being parked on the sidewalk.
yeah.
Cause you got your big pond there too. It's no fault of
Yes, it
theirs.
does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But that issue needs to be addressed about piling the snow on the sidewalk.
I got it right here.
Okay.
How are you guys with, emergency parking down at the bottom of the hill here, across from my place? In the winter time, when we can't get up the road, is that okay?
Won't bother me at all.
Alright.
It's, we're pretty easy to get along with,
Yep.
most of the time.
Item 7B, the audit is scheduled for January 3rd or 4th, and it'll take 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
And C.
You get foreclosure.
Well, we have a second foreclosure, is Lawrence and Arlene Jordan on East Sangerville Road. And that one, I will have to pull the deed, and it has heirs and assigns. So you have to contact the heirs and assigns, because they have a right to come in and pay the taxes to keep the property. So that's gonna take some work before we can actually put that one
Okay.
up for bid. That was the other foreclosure. And I think that leaves us the HAD 4 and the adult use marijuana petition. And I gave you the letter that Doreen set up. So it was a properly petitioned ordinance.
Yes, yep.
And he had the proper amount of
Yeah, and
signatures.
We addressed this last meeting, did we not? Didn't we,
Well-
we saw the petition last, or,
We saw that, no.
I thought this came up last meeting.
2 meetings ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
He brought us
Because
this.
I had just turned in the signatures when you had your last.
right,
select board
well, I
meeting.
knew that you had gotten plenty of signatures from
Right.
election day,
Right.
right, so.
Well,
that-
we didn't have a board meeting after election day. Did we?
Yeah, the immediate day
Yeah,
after.
we did.
Yes, but we hadn't done this.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So it has been properly petitioned, everything has been certified, all of his signatures that counted, he has the proper number. So now it's your decision at this point to either move it to a town meeting, for approval.
Well, in other words, it's up to us to advance it to the warrant for this
Yes.
year's town meeting.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right, well, that's pretty clear.
Do you have a copy of that letter?
You can have mine anytime, honestly, if you can take it out. Here you go.
Okay.
I mean, we can advance this today, we can discuss this today, advance it later. Do you guys have questions, or?
So, we're advancing this ordinance, the one that Chris, that.
Correct.
That's the
Yes.
signature
Correct.
for.
Yeah,
So there's no changing this at all, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Not his
okay,
ordinance.
right,
correct.
okay.
And I believe he's working with the planning board, and Jerry's here, and Jerry came, talked today. And Chris, everything is closed down in Augusta, so I didn't get an answer back from MMA, but it's, how do we want to, do we want to zone and have specific locations, and is there an application process that we can put into place? Should we, and how, stringent does that need to be? Can we, hours of operation, can we limit the hours of operation? I mean, we don't want people in 10, 11 o'clock at night, that kind of thing. So all of those questions I've sent off to MMA.
All similar questions that I have of the community as well.
Yeah,
And would like, not just, both boards input, but community input as well. I think a public
Yeah.
hearing would be an appropriate approach.
yeah. And I've suggested to Jerry that to get that put together as far as the rules and guidelines and put it forth as an ordinance to match this, so if this passes, then we have our rules already.
That's kind of, yeah, so they're really two separate issues.
They're two separate issues.
Currently, there are no rules,
Correct.
Correct.
but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't advance this. I mean, this is a
Right.
legal petition, and it's,
Right.
so they're really two separate issues, I
Right.
think.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
think it is.
Yeah,
But I think it also makes a lot of sense to have all that in place for the town meeting as well, so that then we're not working.
Yep, so they're on a parallel track.
Yep,
Yep,
yeah.
yep. So is that something that the planning board would be responsible for?
Yeah. 'cause
Yes.
that's really-
Yeah.
Most
Yes.
towns, the planning
Yeah.
board, code enforcement are active on that. But it's my understanding it doesn't have to be done prior to the vote. If we could, I don't know if we'd have time enough to draft appropriately. They're considering it this month, we're gonna talk to Chris week from tomorrow. he's helped us work through it.
Well, if, let's say this goes, it passes, and someone opens a facility in a place that ultimately, the town would, rather it wasn't there, I don't think you can force them out of that spot.
Correct.
Correct.
You can't be retroactive, in other words, in your zoning. So that, there could be a rub there, if the two aren't ready together.
I'm fairly confident that we can work together to come up with some fairly straightforward, rules and regulations. I mean, we don't want, manufacturing facilities out in the middle of nowhere, or the retail stores out in the middle of nowhere. You know, can be a road issue on top of fire hazard issue, enforcement issues. I mean,
Right.
what part of the community wants to see them, you know, focused in a certain area of town, whether it's downtown or the Route 23 corridor. I mean, I know we could appropriately word it somehow.
It's quite, have you been to Manchester lately, either one of you? It's quite amazing. Have you been down that way?
No.
If you get off in Augusta and you take a right to go to Manchester, they're all ready to go. And some of them are beautiful facilities. On the top of the hill after the Charlie's Motor Mall, there's a big old New England farmhouse that they've completely remodeled, and the signage is there, and then there's another one when you get down the hill, I mean, all the way to Winthrop. It's for
gonna be
real.
big business.
It's for real.
Any town opens up, it's gonna be big business.
Now,
This isn't gonna be a small operation.
Why in Manchester?
I don't know, I was at,
Manchester isn't, or Manchester, the town boards have the authority, or the, I can't remember the term now, the legislative body. So
They have
they've been
a
allowed
council.
to make zoning regulations,
Oh,
whereas in our municipality, the legislative body is the voters.
right. So they were able to
Be like a
push-
council.
move it forward, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
and there are some towns that have already have a prohibition on this.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it wouldn't change in the future. But so towns that have a current prohibition, that next to them is a town that is open, you're already seeing some scurrying for real estate and that sort of thing. So, it's, yeah.
I've been working hard at this point, to get to this point for a long time. And I'm optimistic that the community support is there for us. I know that during the petition process, there are several cultivators interested in doing just grow operations. They have no interest in retail operations or manufacturing or extraction.
Interested in Sangerville?
Correct, there's some growers in Sangerville that would like to get.
And the state they'd go to the state for a license.
License.
They'd have to get licensed through the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's one other thing that it's still gonna require local ordinance in addition to that. I mean, most towns would, they would have an ordinance that precludes any liability on the town's part for having an available. Lois gave me a copy of the town of Fairfield. They had an ordinance, and the only thing they had for an ordinance was to exclude the town from any liability resulting from the sale, use, manufacture, or whatever.
Why do you need that, Jerry?
So do we do it with alcohol?
Yeah, we don't have you're not protected
Yeah.
from me buying a beer.
I don't know.
That's my question. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense. If it's legally, state legal, I don't know why you would.
It may be the federal entanglement that they're trying to dodge,
Could be.
but I don't know that you can legislate yourself out of that situation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you say, you're still, that's still there. You're not getting around that.
But I don't know that it's possible, but ideally, these two things would come together at the same
Yeah,
time.
I think so.
That
I
would
think
be,
so.
otherwise you could really,
Oh.
we could have a grower, then by fall,
We have, yeah.
we change the rule, and that would be could be a
And
potential mess.
grandfathering and all that sort
Yep.
of stuff going on.
That would be chaos.
And if Chris is willing to help you, and you guys could have some workshops and really get this thing kinda, that would be,
Well, my understanding too is that once the legislative body is voted to opt in, the planning board could put a policy into place. rather than having another vote.
A policy versus an ordinance,
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
for the same kind of guidelines as
For the
an
same
ordinance would carry.
guidelines as what, an ordinance and a town vote would carry.
No,
Not quite.
policy's not enforceable, but it's the same as an ordinance is. We've already figured that out with all of our.
It would have
policies
some
and
weight, but it's not nearly what an ordinance is.
But if we can pull it together, I think, especially without doing a special town meeting and wasting funds and people's time, I think we could. I mean, my response from the plan, or my impression of this planning board is they wanna work with it and roll forward.
My own opinion is the ordinance has to come and be on the warrant before this. Because I don't think if you have an ordinance ready for town meeting and the people pass it with rules and in place, I don't see this passing. I know there's support, but I think they're gonna want the rules before they approve it.
Not so sure.
Oh, you don't see this passing without,
Without rules and regulations attached to it.
Yep,
really?
yep, I don't believe it will.
But we can draft something
I think you're
up.
wrong too, I'm just.
Yeah.
We can draft something up, present it to
The
the
bottom line
select
is,
board
though,
on December 19th and get it put onto the warrant articles. What's the cutoff date for those?
When
That's
we
long.
send it to the printer.
yeah, it's like 7 days. The bottom line is though, his petition, he's gonna be on the warrant.
Right,
Correct.
right.
Well,
So,
We
that's-
can't not put it on there unless there's some legal, reason not to, and we're not aware of one, so it will be
so
on there.
this is moving forward.
Right, so if we have an ordinance ready, that will be on there too, but this has
You
been
have
put into
signatures,
motion.
I mean,
Well, I have signatures, I have, I know the town is familiar with Lynn Williams. She's worked with some other petitions, or not petitions, ordinances in this town in previous years, and she's the one that has assisted me to this point and is gonna continue to assist me.
So are we sending this to the town's attorney so that?
Well, that's what you need to tell me what you want
Well,
me to
that's what
do.
I'm-
If you want me to send it to her, I can do that.
Yeah,
My feeling is that we should get a legal stamp of approval,
yep.
assuming that we get that, because I think you did some pretty good research on this before you even started. So my guess is this is gonna fly, and if it does, then it's pretty much, it's on there. I mean, we have to make a motion but.
Right, but I mean, when you stand up in town meeting, everybody's gonna say, has the
What's
attorney
the
read
lawyer
that?
Yep,
Right,
and they
yeah,
will,
yeah,
we'll be
yeah.
able to say yes.
Yes,
There you go. That's
yeah,
what
yeah. Yeah.
So, and my idea on the ordinance end would design it similar to the livestock ordinance, where it's within a certain distance of the town monument, or town
Square off.
town center is what it's defined as in that ordinance.
Most of our other ordinances we have here, as far as land use, it's, you're either on city water sewer or you're not. That constitutes the rural or the urban district, as far as any ordinances we have right now.
Okay.
So we need to make motion?
Yep,
We're moving this forward?
Lois is gonna get us a legal opinion on this.
So I will make a motion to, send the adult use marijuana business ordinance, on to, the town's attorney to have a read and, give us their opinion.
Second.
Any further discussion? None? Those in favor?
Do we need to make official that we're moving this forward to the warrant?
Well, after we
wait,
get
yeah,
back this
let's-
opinion,
let-
next meeting, I'm guessing we'll have an answer, and I suspect it will then be moved right to the warrant.
Because just one of the things that I talked to Lois about today, those were the things that the planning board was going to address, and you were gonna check out the legality of it with MMA.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to.
Okay. You-
Yeah, I sent it to them. I sent a copy of the ordinance, the proposed ordinance for that, just so that they could have everything, any information, but I think they were closed today.
So,
And if you wanna do a workshop or something like that, I would encourage you to go that route, but that's your call. I would show up, I would,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we should give everybody a chance to get some input.
Chris mentioned a public hearing. You mentioned that as far as just educating.
Well, that's gonna happen,
That will trigger.
right, and we have to do one once we decide to go
Okay,
to the warrant, which,
Okay, so we don't need to,
right,
Which would put it sometime in January.
probably, yep, I suspect.
right.
Yeah, well, yeah, cause we'll have one more meeting before the holiday,
Yeah,
and then, yeah, you're right, it'll probably be
January.
right on the first of the year business.
But just so you know, in the past, with any subject, we've had a public hearing. We have 6 more people sitting here than we've ever had when we've had one, so.
Well, this could be
We don't
different.
usually.
This is basic. Yeah,
I mean, it may be, maybe you'll pack the
Maybe
room,
we'll get a
but
full house.
that could happen.
It actually
I
doesn't
mean,
matter either way.
Right.
We still have to
But I
have it.
just,
Conduct it.
I didn't want Chris to hope that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
gonna get,
And
you
then
know what I
I
mean?
don't think, I don't
Nobody shows
expect a
up for
huge
it.
turnout.
Okay. That's all, I wanna make sure you do, that's all.
I made it a point collecting signatures to approach people I knew who attended town meeting on an annual basis, so they were aware of it. I didn't wanna pull the wool over anyone's eyes, so.
Cool.
If for some reason this goes to the attorney and the attorney has major concerns, what would we share those concerns with Chris at that point? And does he have the chance to remedy them, or how does that work?
Well,
No, yes and no. We can share those concerns. He would have to do the whole petition process.
Okay, and the remedy
With
would
a
be
new
to
one.
redo it with
Yes.
the, okay. All right, just so everybody knows what
that's
to
why a lot of
expect.
times in the past when this has happened is, this gets through, or just grabbing it, the petition moves forward, period. Whatever the attorney comes up with afterwards, then the town would then redo their own, so you would be voting on 2 at the same time. You would amend this one.
Because we can advance one anytime we want to.
Correct.
without
Right.
signatures.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Right.
From personally, this process that you're doing, it kind of provides us cover, in the sense that people can't come up to me and say, I can't believe you did that. We don't really have a lot of choice. As long as you've done everything properly, it all just kind of flows, so.
To my knowledge, I am the only person in the state that has done this petition process. The only other ones I know of have been brought up by select boards or the town councils, city councils.
So as far as a private citizen.
As far as a private citizen, I'm the
Right.
only one I know of that's gone through the whole petition
I
process.
think there will be a lot of them in 19, but the window really doesn't open until 19, and so you're gonna, because there will be towns that think they've blocked this, and then it just takes a number of signatures and it's unblocked.
Correct.
So I think that process is gonna play out.
Yeah, once they find out.
And it could go back and forth.
We'll see, well.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't tend to do that with alcohol,
Part,
but it could, so.
And, a whole new committee down there assigned to this task, and, we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
The best part of the petition process is the people get to decide.
Right,
Correct.
Yeah.
right.
How do you argue with 162 signatures? That's my opinion, I mean, that's a lot, I mean, you don't get that many on most things, so.
No, that's a pretty good town meeting right there.
That's 2 towns, that's 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I've never seen that many. of them.
No, I don't think I have.
If you get half that.
So we'll readdress this again on the 19th,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Hopefully
Yeah,
we'll have,
if we've got the attorneys,
yeah,
I didn't know if we could get back that.
I'll tell her, I'll put a note in there.
What's our timeline when we have to? Is there any time?
Yeah, there's a timeline that you have to act on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
And we've been a while.
Yeah, the date is on.
Oh, that's true.
30 days.
That's,
It
Oh, is that right?
November
Yes.
19th, December 19th is our next meeting.
so that is our mark.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let the attorney know we need a response. and We should be good to go.
Maybe that'll help speed it up and guarantee an answer.
Okay. On the item E, HAD 4
Yep.
memorandum, I would like to table that. All I would ask, that the memorandum that's referenced here, Lois has a copy of it.
Yeah.
If someone comes in and asks for it, it's a public document, and go
Yeah,
ahead and share
yeah,
it.
it's right here.
But we'll address that, I think we'll address that later, if nobody objects to tabling. Audit, mowing, geez, we're fine, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, because now you're on like item 8.
Guys,
Old business,
I didn't have any.
correspondence, DEP landfill maintenance.
Yeah, that was it's the old landfill. The letter is somewhere.
You can't find it.
No, I'll just send him an email. Send me another one. I've looked in 3 days too. I know I put it somewhere because we were gonna, all it
not-
says is they do a periodic inspection and these are the things that we look at and these are the things that you need to fix in a timely fashion. So it's supposed to be at least bush hogged every year. Once a year is all they were asking. There was one of the vents at the top is damaged. There were some little saplings growing out of the top, and that's why you want to bush hog it,
Right.
because you
Sure.
don't want trees, because, however thick that
Should that be
cover
budget
layer
item?
is, if those trees fall over, then it's exposed.
I mean, we could pay you to
it's
go
not
there,
that,
bush
it's
hog
not
it.
that big, I mean,
No,
honestly, what I would wish we could do is, remember I asked once if we could have like a sheet that has all of our appointments, and so all of our yearly things.
I'm
that we're
working
supposed
on
to-
that sheet,
Mm.
so
Add
put
this
this
on
on
to
there.
that.
Punch list. Yeah, this is an
So that way-
annual thing that
Sure.
gets done.
Same way with roadside
That's-
mowing, roadside mowing, we do this in December.
But that's, what I mean, once a year, it's part of the budget, somebody goes
Sure.
up there and bush hogs that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that would be good, because as you
It's not
said,
that big, I mean,
Right.
is that a couple acres?
I don't even think it's that much, is it?
Brian Howard bush hogged it for years.
But I think that's what's happened, I think over time, and people have changed, and
It hasn't been
Right,
done for
just
a while,
right.
so.
Everybody.
Yeah.
you got
and-
trees to do, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
And I-
fur up
yeah.
there, that's.
and I think
Oh,
there's
no.
a ditch
It's
that
getting away
goes
from us.
around it, and the ditch is filling in with trees, we gotta cut those. And there, specifically that particular day, there was some trash
Yeah.
out by the
Oh,
entrance.
Great.
People still using it.
Somebody,
Somebody threw some trash out, so.
You got all the
Old
Guilford going
habits
back
are hard
there,
to-
you always see stuff on them.
Oh, such a nuisance.
Okay. We skipped around so much, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, but I have check marks most everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, unless there were any other selectmen concerns,
No?
and, that's it.
No executive session as far as I'm concerned. No.
Nope.
I guess, is there anything else before we haven't had a meeting in a while?
No,
Okay, I guess.
so make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, we are adjourned. We vote is unanimous.